welcome back to the Zilinski life, or Cody and Val. I'm Val, Cody's at work. This is more so just a test to make sure that Camtasia actually works. It does not crash on me because we have not posted a video in 4 months. You guys are due for an update. So, what's new? We pulled the kids out of daycare and then we put them back into daycare. We moved into a house on the opposite end of the city that we live in. I had 2 back-to-back miscarriages, and then the most recent one had me hemorrhaging so hard that I lost consciousness at home, spent a night in the hospital, and received 2 blood transfusions, and I'm still recovering from that. We have also decided to step away from our coaching business. For the amount of time and effort that it is taking, we're not seeing enough of benefit there, and I feel like we're just kind of losing our vision and our passion and our goal for that. And YouTube is something that we have always loved doing. Whether we make money from it or not, it's something that we've always loved doing. We enjoy putting the time into it. And it's just, I think it's just something that we really want to be able to come back to. And I think there's this constant battle or friction when we're showing up on Instagram and we're talking about, things that we're passionate about over there too, which is learning how to monetize your skills, learning how to make money online, how to create a location independent income, teaching everything we've learned over the years over sales and marketing and just all of that stuff. But there's this constant friction, I feel with this need to show up to be professional, to be a leader, to be an authority, and there's all this noise that we get in the online space as to how we should run our business and how we should show up. And try as I might to maintain my authenticity and to be true to myself, I am still at a place personally where I look at the other people who are farther along than me and I think, I'm not doing it the way they do it, and so I need to change myself to fit into that box. And I hate trying to fit into a box, but I'm not quite sure. I can't quite wrap my head around yet what it looks like for me to not be in that box. So we've decided to just put it down because YouTube is something that we've always just shown up at, that we've been authentic with, that we've openly shared our budget with us videos, our debts, our debt journey, and it's why we're coming back to this space again. It's just something that feels good. And I know that might be weird to say because for a lot of people, personal finance is very personal. It's not something that people want to talk about, let alone where they're failing or falling short or where they're in debt. But I think these are important conversations to have. And I think a lot of people are struggling in their finances right now, struggling with their budgets, struggling to pay their bills. A lot of people are carrying shame around this. And so I think by sharing a little piece of our story, we can help to, hopefully, it's my hope anyways, that we can ease a little bit of that and other people can see us and be like, oh, I'm not the only one struggling. I'm not the only one who didn't get it right. I mean, a lot of us were not taught budgeting and finances. I mean, I was taught little things like pay your bills on time and money coming in versus money going out and needs versus wants and save 10% of everything you make. But the intricacies of finances and how it actually affects you as an individual and as a family unit and setting financial goals and debt repayment and interest rates and how to responsibly use a credit card, all of this stuff is not stuff that I was taught, but rather things that I have figured out and continue to figure out in my adult life. And Cody and I really want to be able to set ourselves up for success, or at least do better for ourselves so that we can pass on better financial knowledge to our kids and set them up for a better financial future. So with that, in terms of a financial update, our total debt, I actually just sent an email out to our email list letting them know that we're dropping the whole life coaching thing and what our debt load is. So I'm going to pull up the email to look up what it is. See? Can you see it? It's right here. I guess I get my own emails because I want to make sure they look pretty and that, anyways. So current debt status is $32,085.88. Now, I shied away from sharing this. You'll notice that we haven't been doing like our monthly financial updates or giving debt payoff updates because I have carried some shame around this. And I've addressed it, I've worked through it, I've coached myself through it. Joys of having a life coaching certification now, I guess. But I've come to terms with it, and I've gotten to a point where I'm ready to talk about this. And the reason why we carried so much shame around it is because Cody and I can't remember what year we filed it, 2017, maybe? 2017 sounds about right. We filed a orderly payment of debts with our province. It was a court-ordered debt repayment of our debts, and I think we had $39,000 or $38,000 in there. And we worked really, really hard. That monthly payment, the minimum monthly payment for that was $750 because it required us to pay back 100% of our debts, but it was at 0% interest. $750 a month, and we worked really hard to pay that down. And we finally paid it off in 2021, February of 2021. I think is when it was. Yeah, February of 2021. Or was it 2022? I can't remember. I'd have to go look it up. But the point is we worked really hard and we paid it off and we celebrated that and we posted a video about it on YouTube and we were so excited. And then everything just kind of continued to fall apart. Cody still didn't have work. He was still on unemployment. We had just had Gunner, so I was staying home. I was breastfeeding. And things were just not going well. And Cody managed to get a job. If you guys are new here, Cody works as a industrial pipe fitter, and almost 100% of the work he does is project based. So he'll have work for like 6 weeks or 6 months, and then he'll be laid off for like, a couple weeks or several months. We don't know. It's always different. So there's always this feast or famine cycle of income. And so he finally found a job where it was steady, predictable employment. It was a long-term contract, and he's still at this job. He's been at this job for over a year now. The downside is that it paid like $2,000 less a month than what we would typically have made with him taking project-based work. But we really wanted to commit to having a steady, predictable paycheck. We've got kids depending on us. We want to plan for a future. So he took it, and we were like, we're going to make it work. And so we sold a lot of our stuff. We got our life coaching certifications. We registered and incorporated a business. We're like, we're going to make this work. We're going to do this thing. We funneled a lot of money into coaches and courses and certifications and like trying to build up this skill set that we had hoped would make us money in the online space. We moved to a really shitty, sketchy apartment. It was like $900 a month for a 2-bedroom. And the average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment was like $1,400. And that came at a price. It had cockroaches. I caught a mouse running around in Freya's room one night. We would have homeless people come into the lobbies and poop everywhere. And so I would have to walk Freya and Gunner. I'd have to pick them up and carry them through so that they didn't touch anything. These spaces with literal human feces on the carpet and on the walls, and this was like a weekly occurrence. Every day the cops were showing up. We lived on the top floor of a walk-up building, so Gunner didn't walk yet. Freya did, so I'd have to carry Gunner, carry the groceries. Sometimes Freya wouldn't want to walk up all the stairs, and I'm lugging these 2 kids and all these groceries up, I don't know, 8 flights of stairs. It was on the 4th floor, but it was like a flight of stairs, a landing, and a flight of stairs, and that's a floor kind of thing. Anyways, it was a nightmare. I hated it. We hated it. We only stayed for a few months. Fast forward, while we were in that apartment, even with the lower rent, we still could not afford to make all our bills. So we started cutting things, slashing things, getting out of contracts that we had signed into, selling more stuff. We started missing payments, and we finally said, we can't do this. We can't keep it up. And so we had to file a consumer proposal. And that sucked. And I'm not typically somebody who would feel shame around having to make a necessary choice, but there was so much shame around it because we had just paid off this orderly payment of debts thing that we were in, and to just mere months later, after all of the sacrifice, to still have to file a consumer proposal sucked. It sucked so bad. Now fast forward all these months. Now we're in a house. We have a backyard. The kids are safe. We're in a safer neighborhood. We got a really good deal on the rent here. It is privately owned, privately rented. From our understanding, the landlord doesn't plan on raising the rent. He hasn't raised the rent here in like 5 years. We've signed a 2-year lease and hope to renew for another 2 years. Anyways, we're in a better position now, but the debt repayment is still very slow. Our bills are very tight. We don't have a lot left over every month. I'm looking at our YNAB budget, and we have 6 days is the age of our money, meaning that it takes an average of 6 days for money to come into our account and then leave. So we're still very much paycheck to paycheck. And again, I carried shame around that because I'm like, here I am in the online coaching space, trying to show up as a leader so that I can inspire and motivate and educate others on how to monetize their skills and make money online and get out of debt. And even though I understand these things logically, and I'm quite confident I can teach it to other people, I didn't feel like I was operating in a place of authenticity. I was using other people's tactics, other people's frameworks, other people telling me how to run my business, which is fine because I've never done that before. So I needed to look to others to teach me how to do it. But I think at the end of the day, it just became so noisy for Cody and I that we totally lost our sense of confidence and our sense of direction. So at this point, we've just decided to let it go. Because I think the more important conversation here is around letting go of shame around your finances. Because in order to correct your financial situation, in order to get out of debt, in order to understand your finances, have a budget that works, it requires you to actually look at it. And when you're feeling shameful, overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out, you are not going to take a good, complete, direct look at your finances. You're not going to sit down and look at every penny that you owe to everybody. And I'm talking about like financed phones through cell phone carrier, credit cards, payment plans, personal loans, your car, student loans if you have it, your mortgage, everything. Because it's heartbreaking, because then you don't want to face it, right? Because you feel shame and you feel, all these negative emotions attached to it. And I really want to encourage people to try and learn how to let go of those negative emotions, because at the end of the day, it's just money, right? It's just money that you bring in, money that you owe, and there's always a plan and a way out and things that can be done. Sometimes it requires drastic changes, right? For us, that looked like moving into a really crappy apartment and then filing a consumer proposal. That was pretty drastic. I hope your situation is not as dire. But we also know that there's a way out, right? Like we are on track to still be 100% debt-free in under 5 years. If I went back to work, we could probably do it a lot sooner, but again, our priority and value is for me to be able to stay at home, be with the kids, be with the household. That's what we've decided on as a family. I keep offering to Cody, I could go back to work if we really needed me to. But as a household unit, we've decided that this is what we want to do. So it's a little bit of our update. I know it's kind of rambly. Honestly, I just turned this on to literally just check to see if Camtasia would stop working or not. You know what? Maybe I will post this. That was a lot to share. Cody's at work, by the way. He comes home tomorrow night. And we will do a budget with this video, so long as Camtasia does not crash again. But we will do another budget with this video. And they will be regular again. And maybe we'll do our monthly recaps as well. And honestly, I would just like to share more of our life. Like, I'm pretty sure for our email list, I'm just going to start sending weekly emails just sharing our life and my musings and the things that are going on, and journal entries that I've been writing and personal reflections. Like I'm so exhausted from I have to have a point and I have to be selling something and I have to be adding value so that people will buy from me. Like I kind of just want to be your friend, I know that sounds weird because it's YouTube and it's not like I can talk directly to you, but in my brain, I'm talking directly to you. It's just you. There's nobody else. Even though I know that hundreds of people watch these videos, they get hundreds of views. But in my brain, I'm talking to you as if you were literally sitting here at my computer across the table from me. And that's how I want to be able to write all of these newsletters, as if I'm writing to a friend. I'm looking for that connection, and I think that's where our magic is of having an impact. It's not trying to be something that we're not. I'm not 100% sure what it is yet, but I know it's not pretending to be something I'm not, if that makes sense. Anyways, this is getting kind of long and rambly, so if you made it till the end, leave a comment down below and let me know that you made it to the end of this, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to me ramble. And Cody and I are very excited to be back here on YouTube in the space again. I know he's not here right now, but we've been talking about this for weeks and about coming back and being here more. So thank you. We miss you. We're happy you're here. And as Cody would say, if you like it, like it. If you dislike it twice. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.